Hey guys, you know what this is, so turn down the heat, cause it's time for the Cold War. Yeah. Sorry about that. Anyway. The Cold War was a rampant geopolitical, ideological, and economic struggle between the two world superpowers, the United States and the USSR. These two countries have a lot of history together that dates back even further than World War I. As a result, they don't exactly like each other. And no, it wasn't called the Cold War for being fought in cold conditions, but it was dubbed cold for its lack of battle heat. This is what made the Cold War unique compared to past disputes. So don't be fooled by the name. The Cold War had plenty of death and destruction, as well as its own share of battles to brag about. Some say that it all began with the Iron Curtain. It was the boundary that separated the NATO countries from the Warsaw Pact countries from about 1945 until the end of the Cold War. Then on April 7, 1948, the Marshall Plan, also known as the European Recovery Program or ERP, was put into action. It was an American program to help Europe by providing monetary support to prevent the spread of Soviet communism. On April 4, 1949, the prospect of further communist expansion prompted the United States, as well as 11 other Western nations, together to form the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or the NATO. On the other hand, the Soviet Union and its affiliated communist nations in Eastern Europe founded a rival alliance, the Warsaw Pact, on May 14, 1955. Also in 1955, the Vietnam War occurred. The US strongly believed that if the south of Vietnam were to triumph, the power of communism would not take over the rest of Southern Asia. The 1961 Bay of Pigs invasion has nothing to do with bacon, but rather another US attack. It was a CIA-sponsored American infiltration of the Cuban government in order to overthrow Fidel Castro and his communist regime. Although the United States planned to appear quote-unquote uninvolved in this attack, and had declared about their non-intention to intervene in any form of Cuban affairs, Cuba had already approached the United Nations with the facts about the United States training mercenaries for this planned invasion. On August 13, 1961, the Berlin Wall was erected in the dead of night, and for 28 years it had kept East Germans from fleeing to the west side of Germany. However, the Berlin Wall fell just as quickly as it had risen. There had been signs that the communist bloc was weakening, but the East German communist leaders insisted that East Germany only needed a moderate change rather than a drastic revolution. But the East German citizens did not agree, and they tore down the Berlin Wall on November 9, 1989. Then on December 25, 1991, Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev had resigned, ultimately declaring his office extinct, as well as relinquishing the Soviet nuclear missile program to the United States. The next day, December 26, 1991, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics was formally dissolved by declaration of the Soviet of the Republics of the Supreme Soviet of the Soviet Union. This declaration acknowledged the independence of all 15 republics of the Soviet Union, following the creation of the Commonwealth of Independent States. And that brings us to the end of the Cold War. Want to learn more about the Cold War? Well, go look it up on Google. Just kidding, we have Mr. Hawkins. Hee hee. This presentation was written by Janet Becerra, and the guy who's talking? Obviously not Janet Becerra. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed our video on the Cold War, and you do know I was serious about that Mr. Hawkins thing. Right? Right, Mr. Hawkins? Yes? Yes? Yeah? Okay. Bye!